WTF What's the Focus podcast is brought to you by Anchor. Anchor is the easiest way to make a podcast. Anchor gives you everything you need in one place for free, which you can use right from your phone or computer. Creation tools allow you to record and edit your podcast so it sounds great. They'll even distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard everywhere, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and many more. You can easily make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. Download the Anchor app today or go to anchor.fm to get started.
What's the focus? Pop culture, movies, and TV news. What's the focus? What's the focus?
All right, welcome, Focus Fanatics. This is episode 16. This is WTF, What's the Focus podcast. I am your host, Ryan, and join with me, as always, Mr. Mike Michio. What's up?
What's the focus, buddy? How you doing?
Oh, man. Yeah, I'm doing all right, other than a unfortunate popsicle accident that I had earlier this evening. But other than that, doing pretty well.
Oh man, did you choke yourself out, or did you just not agree with what the popsicle stick was saying as far as your wish or good luck fortune was?
Well, that's a great question, but let me just tell you exactly what happened. It was super, super frustrating. So, the very last bite of a popsicle, and it's usually around, like, the bottom part, and it's kind of like maybe a ring at this point because you've either bitten and, all the top and middle off.
Oh, yeah.
And you have to slide that bottom piece up to the top.
Mm-hmm. You got to work it all the way to the tip.
Yeah.
Yep.
You got to work it to the tip. I slid this motherfucker off, and as I did it the wood on the popsicle stick slivered and went right through my lip.
Oh god. That's bad. That's really bad.
It was bad, right?
That's so bad.
Yeah. If it wasn't for the coldness of the popsicle already helping with the swelling and the tremendous amount of Tito's vodka I've been drinking tonight, I don't know if I would have made it on this podcast. It was life-threatening injuries from a popsicle.
You are heavily medicating right now, is what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I have to. Looks like I got into a big brawl, which is probably what I'll tell people if they ask.
I mean, you feel like a little bitch for saying this, but slivers are no joke, man. They fucking hurt, and they're annoying.
I'll tell you.
Yeah.
As you know, Mike, I'm a chef, right?
Yeah.
I used to cut myself, knife cuts.
Oh,
those are very common.
Not fun.
And nothing was worse than I would get the worst actual aluminum foil paper cut.
Oh, God, yeah.
And it's just that real thin slice, right?
Yeah.
Where you just don't even notice it at first, and then something gets in it,
Yeah.
and it just stings so bad.
I think the worst is when you get a paper cut in between the webbing of your fingers. That to me is just gives me the cringes.
I actually have a legit scar from that actually happening.
Was it a truth or dare, or you just did it on accident?
I think it was just pure adolescent stupidity.
Wow. I was a bored Saturday night, and I decided just to slice myself open. Oh wait, I'm sorry. I'm just saying.
Purpose.
No, seriously though, paper cuts are no fun. They suck.
No,
they suck.
Now we have a certain checklist we like to do on the show, and I'm just going to check in with my co-host real quick. Mike, are you drinking a cocktail?
Not a cocktail, but it's a straight pour of Maker's Mark whiskey. So Kentucky straight bourbon.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, you're going for it tonight, aren't you?
Oh yeah, I'm a big boy, so got to drink with the big boys.
So I'm doing
drink.
mine out of pain. Are you doing yours out of just fun?
Pure depression. I'm very depressed. No, I'm just kidding.
I was hoping you were going to say something along those lines.
Yeah, just bill after bill, and I'm just oh man, I don't know how we're going to make ends meet. No, I'm just kidding. No, all things aside,
right.
just enjoying a nice pour of whiskey, which is always fun. Stings the nostrils, which is great.
Well, Mike, we don't get a lot of comments as of right now, but we did receive one this last Monday.
We did.
And just wanted to give a quick little shout out. So It reads, heard of you on PCL. So I was on a episode a couple weeks ago on Pop Culture Leftovers. It's one of my favorite podcasts, other than our own, of course. But yeah, this guy or gal heard us on the podcast and said it was really short, but it was a 5-star, saying, loving what I hear. And this is from
The
Shiznit.
Ooh.
Yeah, and that's a lot of E's on there, man.
That's
so
a
he's
lot of
really,
E's.
He's really going after
He's
the
really
V.
V'ing it up, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
V. Yes. So, no, I appreciate that. Any comments like that, obviously that being a very positive one and short but sweet, getting that kind of feedback and just that kind of love, man, we appreciate that. So thank you very much for that comment. And going forward, anybody who ever does that, regardless if it's, via iTunes or Twitter or our website page where it'll shoot us an email, we will always share those with you guys on the podcast. So much appreciated.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta say, it's a funny one-liner, right? Just loving what I hear, and that's it. There's no end of sentence, nothing. Just straight to
This
it.
guy's from the East Coast.
Yeah,
I feel like it's.
I almost feel like there's some attitude behind this. I don't know.
I mean, you just got back from upstate New York.
Yeah.
Did you hear anything like that?
Yeah. Hey, I'm loving what I hear. You know what I'm saying? I'm just, I'm really digging the material.
Digging the material, loving what I hear.
Yeah.
Boogada Beppo, okay?
Yeah. Bada bing, bada boom. Hey, hey, oh, hey, hey, how you doing? Hey, quit breaking
you
my
ever cut in
balls.
line?
Hey, forget about it.
Remember that Family Guy where they did that rendition where they said, and now cutting in front of Italians in line, and it's like this guy, and all of a sudden everybody down the line goes, hey, ooh, wee, yeah. That kind of thing.
Hey, scusi.
Oh, mi scusi. Now that makes me think of Eurotrip. Though.
Yeah, it does.
Just with my hand ever so gently on your knee as we go through the train tunnel.
That was like one of Fred Armisen's first like theatrical roles, right? When he was just in SNL at the time.
Yeah. I fucking love that movie
that was
too.
a great
Scotty
movie.
doesn't know that Fiona and me.
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
God, dude, that song. Yeah. Fuck that song. It's like stuck in my head, man.
But you gotta love it because it's Matt Damon singing the goddamn song in the movie.
Matt Damon.
It's all goffed out. Oh, it's so great. It's so great.
That's true.
All right,
That's true.
let's get back on the topic, please.
All right, fine. Sorry.
Man,
well, how was your 4th of July weekend? Was it good?
I'm like telling myself, come on, Ryan, get back on topic. All right, so just to kind of go over briefly what we're going to be actually discussing tonight, we're going to start off with Stranger Things Season 3 impressions. We're not going to go into a spoiler review. We're just going to tell you how we feel about it. Mike has seen now a few episodes. I've gone all the way through, but we know this is still a very new show, and we do not want to ruin anything for the people who have not seen it. We're going to go from that, and then we're going to actually break into Toy Story 4. We're going to take a little break, and then we're going to go to Stumptown, which is a new series that's coming to ABC this September. We're going to touch base on the new Mortal Kombat that I believe is coming out, predicted what, Mike, 2020?
2021.
Oh, 2021. I think I was just wishful thinking with the 2020. Okay, and then we got a Saw reboot, which is going to be Chris Rock, and is he co-producing or co-directing?
Believe he is just starring in the film, but he came forth with the script idea. So one of the actual original directors of Saw is going to be directing it. But yeah, we got a little latest update from that movie.
Yeah, sweet. And then we're going to be going into a couple of Disney performances. We're going to go over the new Maleficent movie that's coming out. We're going to go over the new Mulan movie that's coming out. And we're going to give our thoughts and opinions on what we've seen thus far, not only via just information on the internet, but also the trailers that we actually got to see too. So we're going to go through all of that kind of stuff. We're actually going to give it our actual rating system. We're going to be doing this as our Focus of the Week segment. And for you guys who have not heard how we do our focus meter, this is a brief recording on how we do it. So stay tuned.
Hey everybody, it's yours truly, Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'm here today on behalf of both Ryan and Michael, and I want to go ahead and tell you about WTF's Focus Meter. So let me go ahead and break it down for you. Alright, it's going to be very, very simple, alright? So sit tight and pay attention. Sorry, I'm going to get going right now. Alright, so now if it's something that had your focus and maybe you wish you never saw it, give it a poor rating. But if it's something that maybe you saw and you're like, hey, I don't think I'm going to ever see this again, give it an average rating. And if it's something you really enjoyed, but maybe you thought some things could have been better, definitely give it like a good rating, like 2 thumbs up, whatever. It's good, be honest, and if it's something, that, you just absolutely couldn't keep your eyes off of, and, it's almost like I like to say, it's like, when you're in the gym and you're lifting the weights and you're feeling the pump, like give it like a maximum rating, it's like, it's going to be like super fantastic and you're feeling great and you just want to go ahead and let everyone know it's got your maximum focus, so go ahead and be honest and enjoy the rest of the show.
All right, we are back, and that was our rating system. So pretty simple there. Hey, Mike?
Yeah, man. I hope that was pretty straightforward.
Yeah,
you heard it from
nice
yours truly.
All right, so we will make sure that we definitely give our rating system of what we think right after we give kind of our all-around thoughts and impressions of everything we discuss. So Stranger Things Season 3. This came out 4th of July, and I was able to just polish it off in 3 quick days, my friend.
Jesus, you monster.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, well, I was out of town, so to be fair.
yeah, you were on vacation doing some fun stuff. I was, at home, wifeless, kidless. They are traveling, and I had a lot of free time just to go ahead and polish them all off. So now, like we talked about before, good and bad, right? I mean, it was so much fun watching this series, but at the same time, I was really pissed off that I got done with them in 3 days. I was like, fuck, I have nothing else to fucking watch now. It's like so beautiful to get them all, but then once they're over, you're just begging for something else to watch. It's kind of brutal.
I'm telling you, man, that's the blessing and the curse of having seasons available, readily available just like that for you. Like it's it's awesome on one half or on one regard, but it also sucks that now you're just gonna have to wait this much longer for the next season.
I know.
Yeah. It's kind of nice when they space it out. I do appreciate that, but I do appreciate the binging too, so I go back and forth.
Yeah, I ended up watching the Netflix original series with, what's his name, Adam Sandler and Jennifer Aniston, that murder mystery movie that just came out. And filled my time with that instead. I guess that's one of the number one watched record-breaking Netflix original shows on Netflix right now, as of this last week. So
nice. And was that like scripted into a recommendation for you after you were done with Stranger Things, or you just came across that?
No, it was definitely recommended to me. I was just begging somebody to just give me some more things to watch. I was like,
is it more or less because you like Stranger Things? Do make sure to check out Adam Sandler's new Happy Madison flick with Jennifer Aniston.
No, it's been an unhealthy amount of Workaholics, Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and just reruns of Psych. Yeah. It's been a lot.
Nice.
But I got to fill the time, man. But anyway, let's break into Stranger Things Season 3. Again, this is a non-spoiler review, so if you haven't seen it, don't worry. I will just say that I enjoyed this season a lot more than the second season.
I've been hearing that. I've been reading on that online. A lot of people have been definitely voicing their opinions. It sounds like this is much more preferred than the second season.
Yeah, and kind of like I stated before, the second season, for me at least, was very much, a stepping stone to the next season. I mean, it was entertaining in some ways, but because I knew it was going somewhere within a third season, I took it for what it was. The second, season of any show, I would say, is a very difficult season. I would say a lot of people actually do better third seasons than second seasons because they all of a sudden now can build off that whatever story they were pushing off in the second. And so it can go in a different direction, and things have now been set up. And that's really what I got from this. I felt like the storyline was very clear. We know what the monsters are. We've now seen them for 2 seasons. They have the nicknames for all of the monsters from playing D&D, right?
Yep.
And I picked up on a lot more stuff than I did in the past seasons. But it's very cool to see the kids now are much older. I watched a couple of the first season episodes just to kind of see where they started. And, man, they're just babies in the first season, and they've really grown up in this third. So it was very cool to see now the character evolving because of their age and their character growth because of just naturally getting older. And they dove into that within this season, too, and played off of that as well in some of the other character arcs. So, yeah, it was a really enjoyable series. And I got to say, if they ended it on this season, I wouldn't be upset with it. I know that it wasn't announced to be a series finale, so we're probably most likely going to get a fourth season, but I got to say they closed it out perfectly if they were going to end it. So we'll see what they decide to do. But how many episodes deep are you, Mike?
So basically, I am through season 2, and right out of the gate, I feel way more engaged in this season than I had felt in season 2. So with that said, I definitely am intrigued to see, so obviously I just started this yesterday, so I'm gonna probably pound through it for the rest of the week. But yeah, man, it's a lot more engaging to me, and I definitely like the mall setup that I guess they actually built this actual set for the show itself. But I love all the throwbacks to all the different 80s type stores that you would see in a mall back
Isn't
then,
it great?
which is really, really cool. So yeah, man, it's definitely hidden that nostalgic factor, which is awesome. I mean, which is the series has always kind of done. So, like you were saying also as well, see these kids grown up 2+ years since the last time we've seen them almost is pretty interesting as well. So right out of the gate, I want to just go ahead and say it. I like where it picks off in episode 1 and 2. I definitely feel like it just kind of launches itself from where the finale of season 2 was, and it kind of gives us some immediate answers to some things that we wanted from seasons 1 and 2. So I'm not going to go into any spoilers, but I'm super excited to see how the season's going to play out. So yeah, I'm definitely more engaged, and honestly, this has got my maximum focus right now.
Yeah, after I saw the whole season, I'd have to agree with you, man. I was actually trying to find reasons to give it a good or full focus on this, because I'm looking for plot holes, right? And I'm looking for anything I can just to kind of even nitpick, and then maybe just go back and just kind of think about what I saw. And I gotta say, the acting was great. I mean, that's still been on point. I love the kids. I love the banter, like you said. I love the nostalgia of the show. From a kid that was born in the mid-'80s, I remember a lot of that stuff. So just for me, that always hits just a kind of hits home for me, right?
Yep.
But yeah, I think they did a great job with just the all-around storyline. Again, it could have been very repetitive, right? I mean, it could have been almost too redundant to where we're like, we've seen this before, same monsters, same situation, same town. But believe it or not, the way they actually directed this, they took it with the same kids, same place, but they took it into a different area and different kind of level that I wasn't expecting, which was very, very nice. Because I was nervous about it. And, it was 2 years later after the second season, which is, again, that's unusual as it is. And I think we mentioned that in the last podcast. The first season to second went a year, almost exactly a year. So within a 2-year gap, just kind of the flow and the character, camaraderie and, all that kind of stuff that goes into good, acting roles with one another, I feel like is pretty important. So, I would have to say that this definitely got my maximum focus, and I highly recommend this to anybody who may be on the fence, who saw the second season and didn't get everything they wanted out of it. I would say if you didn't finish the second season, finish it up just to watch the third, to be honest. I think it's well worth it.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely have to say I was a little skeptical going into the third season, since I didn't feel like the second season really, we already alluded to this, but it didn't really give us any more answers to all the questions we kind of had. But up until this point, just through 2 episodes, I feel like how it starts off, you immediately get a snippet of what hopefully they're going to explore in this season, and I am thoroughly enjoying the writing and the banter between certain characters right now, especially with Hopper and Winona Ryder's character.
Oh, it's great.
2 episodes. It's fantastic. I was actually finding myself, pretty much, laughing, in those entire scenes, which is really, really cool. So, pretty optimistic, man. I'm hoping that for Netflix itself. I mean, since it's kind of, I don't want to say it's been on on a downhill spiral, what to say, but they're losing properties with Disney kind of pulling out, right? So they need Stranger Things to be the flagship for Netflix. So I definitely want to see this thing flourish because, yeah, it's going to be great for the service overall, and to have these types of shows is awesome. And for this season as well, I do feel like they have upped the production value because a lot of those CG scenes we see in the first 2 episodes, man, like they're pretty. They look pretty convincing. Like that didn't feel like we were shortchanged at all. Like we were getting some real, actual like movie quality scenes, which is really cool.
Yeah, actually, that's a great point that I didn't even think about actually bringing up. But I have to agree with you. They definitely, you could tell they had a much better budget for this going in. Absolutely, yeah. I mean, the CGI was much, much better. Really, I didn't even think about it. During the series, it was just me watching it, just fully entertained and just really enjoying the visual effects. I mean, I didn't think any of it looked fake or kind of corny or any of that kind of stuff. So within that regards, I mean, that just made it that much better of a show. I mean, I really don't have anything bad to say about it other than, like I said, if they do decide to make a 4th season, which I'm sure they are, I'm really hoping they can still keep that original kind of feel and keep things, fresh, because there are a lot of significant changes that happen at the end of this season. And like I said, I will not dive into those, but they're significant enough that changes the show dramatically. So it'll be very interesting to see how they would take this into a 4th season. Do I find them very capable of doing that? Absolutely. I mean, I can't watch now 3 seasons of this and really now enjoy all 3 now that I've seen the 3rd. I made the 2nd better, and then, have my doubts that they don't know how to handle themselves. So they haven't really given me any reason to doubt them is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, so are you saying that at the end of this season, did you feel, I mean, you were saying earlier, did you feel like you'd be content with where it stands, or are you definitely, like, there needs to be more, for sure, right? That's what I think I'm hearing.
So I personally would have been content. I personally would have been.
Interesting.
I thought they closed it out beautifully.
All right.
Because in my opinion, one of my favorite ways of ending a show is obviously a little bit of fan service towards, something, right? And again, I'm just being very vague. But also making you think, what can happen next, kind of letting your own imagination, fill in the blanks. Again, touching base on the end of Sopranos, right? He's in that diner with his family. He goes into the restroom. You see 2 hitmen come in. They open the door. The whole screen goes black. That's all you see.
Yeah.
And some people, that drove them absolutely crazy, right? But for me, I kind of was just like, you know what? If you were going to close it out, I'd rather have that than a disappointing ending. I almost get to make up my own ending.
That's true. I mean, those endings that leave it open for interpretation, I mean, for me, I feel are more preferable to the point, because at that point, any viewer can basically decide, if this was your ending, how would you want it to end? And with that, it definitely, it just leaves so much more room for the imagination based upon what we've seen from these characters. And then it's great to just have open debates with people about just deciding, or just discussing. I mean, what do you actually think happened, to these characters? So, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be fully opposed to it having some type of open-ended ending, but like we were discussing about the first 2 seasons, as far as the world building that they're talking about, I want that to be like thoroughly explained. Like, because it's just at this point, I don't want it to follow the whole J.J. Abrams like approach where it's just the mystery box theory of like how they kind of left us with like Lost at the end of that show. Mm-hmm. So I feel like we just at this point we just deserve a little bit more as an audience. So. Fingers crossed. This season so far, I'm not finished with it yet, but from what you're telling me, I'm getting really excited. So,
how would you think? Man. What would you think of a season 4 time jump, and kind of doing this like the movie It? And we saw them as children, and now we've seen them now evolve into adults, and now we kind of see it from a different perspective.
I'm not opposed. I'm definitely open-minded to that. It's just whether or not if they set themselves up appropriately for it. Like, is there something in the story that warrants that?
I would say yes, and that's me being vague again.
Okay.
But at the end of the season, I think people would agree that that's kind of where it could go.
That's awesome.
And I think they can still bring in the kids. I mean, there can definitely be flashback scenes. There can definitely be, any of those kind of things to bring the kids back into it. Because I think a lot of people really love the show because of the actors that we're getting. I mean, we've got great actors in this, and they're young actors who are just keep giving us pure gold, in my opinion. But I think maybe putting that spin on, and you'll have to touch base with me once you see the whole thing and see if you think that's a realistic theory, because I can definitely see them time jumping in the 4th season. Maybe not a huge amount, but definitely enough to make them adults, which I think would be fun.
No, that's cool. I mean, I'm not opposed to that at all. If done right, they can totally do that to where they're having callbacks to their teenage selves or whatever, right? So it just kind of fills in the gap for the middle years if they do transition to adults later on. So yeah, that is actually really, really, that's really interesting. So
calling it now, everybody. Calling it right now.
Do it, dude. That's it, Ryan.
That's it. It's
fucking
recorded.
calling in. That's
Yep.
it. It's been recorded. It's on. It's been documented.
That's right. So if it goes, if it happens.
Cheers to that, brother.
They listened to What's the Focus podcast, and they copied my idea.
What's my focus?
I'll tell you what my focus is, Mike. It's my Woody.
It's you, buddy. It's your Woody.
It's my Woody.
Oh, I'm actually holding a Woody right now. It's a little mini Louisville Slugger bat pen.
Oh, God. I feel like
I got at the Cooperstown where I went to the Baseball Hall of Fame.
Nice. Yeah. Man, I got to get my mind out of the gutter.
I'm sorry, yeah. I'm not touching my real Woody. I'm touching my baseball Woody. How about that?
I was, of course, talking about Woody the cowboy.
Tom Hanks' character from Toy Story.
Oh, see,
I get it now.
See that segue? And it's so smooth and casual.
So good.
It's
so good.
So smooth and casual.
So good. God.
All right, out of all seriousness, that's all I got for Stranger Things Season 3. Again, we weren't giving any spoilers away, but definitely wanted to give our first impressions. And, at the end of the day, both of us having maximum focuses on this series, please watch it. I think you guys will all enjoy it, especially if you're fans of the first 2 seasons. You will definitely enjoy this series. Give it a watch.
Cool. Yeah, so Toy Story 4.
Whoop, whoop.
Wow. Who would have thought we needed that after Toy Story 3, right?
Well, 2010, Toy Story 3. I mean, we're looking at 9 years later. Here comes Toy Story 4. Pretty crazy.
Yeah. Well, it's crazy. I mean, Toy Story came out originally in 1995, and then obviously the sequel comes out in 99, which is only, 4 years after the fact. And then you have, from 99 all the way to 2010, an 11-year gap between Toy Story 2 and 3 to now another 9-year gap between 3 and 4. And I gotta say, I love the fact that these movies have never really warranted a sequel, so to speak. And they've never rushed them at all. And for me, Toy Story will always be the flagship, film franchise for Pixar. Mm-hmm. So, it's their baby, right? They got to do it, do justice, right? So, after Toy Story 3, I was actually surprised to even hear rumors swirling that a Toy Story 4 was, gonna come about. But at this point, after watching Toy Story 4, I am definitely intrigued to see where this could potentially go, because at this point, all 4 films at this point, they kind of stand alone to, my greatest depiction of this, and you can chime in too here, Ryan, is for me, each movie has its own almost character arc for Woody. Obviously these movies are really kind of centered around him, and it's almost like it's his progression through childhood to adolescence to adulthood, and then moving on from that you see in all 4 of these films. Obviously I know you haven't seen the 4th one yet, but I don't want to go into spoilers, but I love the fact that each film stands alone as far as the messages that you get for the audience, and all the little all the little knickknacks that we pick up on as far as like the life lessons and things like that, whether it's through relationships and friendships and whatnot. It's really, really cool to see how this series has progressed.
And I feel like they always do a good job of keeping, current up-to-date themes in these movies. They do a fantastic job. Absolutely fantastic job. And I thought it was pretty emotional after watching Toy Story 3 and how that movie had ended. This one's another tearjerker. They did it again. So, for me, growing up as a kid, like 1995, I was only 10 years old, and I think you were possibly 8 or whatever. So it was a very impressionable movie at the time because there's a good lesson in there about taking care of your toys and whatnot, right? And then also seeing through the light, seeing through the vision of a toy, like what their perception of life is, right? So it just pertains to ours in some ways as well. So. I was very, very happy with Toy Story 4. So I won't go into spoilers, but I definitely recommend this movie to, it definitely needs to be seen. And whether or not it's in theater or whatnot, you definitely probably should own it if you've ever owned any of the other Toy Stories. It's a great piece to add to the the Pixar collection. So yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it, and honestly, it already had my maximum focus, but yeah, it still has my maximum focus. Whoa, 2 maximum focuses? What are you, nuts?
Two. I got super serious and sincere. I went crazy.
I wanted to bring this up because I thought it was pretty cool. Is I just showed Rowan, my son,
nice,
for the first time Toy Story 1, and I gotta tell you, Mike. The actual visual effects in Toy Story 1 holds up, man.
It
holds up. It holds up big time, dude.
It does. It holds up to one level, but then also, if you're comparing it to a recent Pixar movie you've seen, obviously it's dated, but it does. It holds up. You still connect to these characters just as you did early on, and it's just a testament to the animators from back then that had to literally hand puppet these animations into these 3D models, which is just awesome, man. They're literally conveying human emotion through these characters, and it's just fantastic. Obviously, a lot of the voiceover work is fantastic as well too, but it is literally the animations that you see. Even for this movie, I was just so amazed at how immersive the environments looked, and there's one particular scene where they're in an antique shop, and just seeing all the different layers of detail for showing dust on the ground and showing grunge on items that are starting to rust and things like that. It was just incredible. I'm just when you compare things like that and then go watch the original Toy Story to see how far animation has come in just a series that is always it always feels like it's singular because it's it's the same characters that we've grown up with for the past, 20-something years. Mm-hmm. It's so crazy just to see how it's evolved. And I gotta say, Ryan, in this one, don't be, we did not get shammed here. There's definitely a reference to The Shining, which is awesome.
Yes!
So, yeah, I don't want to spoil it for you, but I definitely was excited to see that Pixar once again has included another homage to The Shining. So
I'll have to look. Did Stephen King have any affiliation with writing Toy Story 4?
Well, for anyone that's obviously familiar with The Shining, this one I feel is more obvious than the others, and it's just a great touch to set up a scene in which these characters don't know what they're about to get into. So when it happens, it's such a, I'm not going to spoil it, but it's literally an audio cue. And at that point you're like, oh shit. So yeah,
love it.
It's great stuff.
Love it. All right. Well, just a little bit more about this film, just on the side of, the actors we have in this goddamn movie, man. It would be hard. Obviously, any movie can be a flop, but with the actors that are attached to this, it's no wonder why it's so successful.
Oh, yeah. The incomparable Tom Hanks and Tim Allen, my God, may they live forever with their characters, right?
Seriously, absolutely. You got the director, Josh Cooley, who is known for obviously this. In the other animated, I believe Pixar was Inside Out. He also had affiliation with Up. He worked for the art department within Ratatouille. So, I mean, he's very much been affiliated with a lot of these animated films. And from what you said, obviously did a great job, which is fantastic. So, not only do we have Tim Allen and Tom Hanks, but, I mean, dude, we have Tony Hale, we have Keegan-Michael Key, we have Jordan Peele, we have Keanu fucking Reeves, we have Ally Mackey, I mean, Christina Hendricks. I mean, these are all superstar actors. All of them.
Yeah. And you know what's really funny is that, I mean, they all have their moments, but never to be outshined by, obviously, you know, the incomparable Tom Hanks or you know, I mean, like, literally, this is a movie that is centered around Woody more so than the others. So, I mean, all the other additions of characters are fantastic. They are just great little sidekicks and whatnot. They had, like, the Key and Peele edition was, like, there are some awesome scenes where they, you know, they definitely get to explore their type of humor in this world, which is really, really cool.
That's awesome.
And Tony Hale, you know, his interpretation of a self-made toy, as in Forky, was just fucking on point. Like, it was so good. It was so good, dude. Like, I was cracking up because, you know, this is a toy that's created by a child, right? That's given life to where it doesn't think it should, you know, obviously exist in the world, right? So, I mean, not to spoil too much, but obviously Woody, you know, is obviously trying to, you know, almost talk him off the ledge, so to speak, throughout the film, which is really, really funny to watch. So it's, yeah, these side characters are awesome. They're great new additions to the franchise. And moving forward, you know, I wonder, I mean, at this point, yeah, like you were saying about Stranger Things and how they could have just ended it. Yeah, I feel the same way in how this movie ended, how I did about Toy Story 3 with, obviously, you know, Andy, you know, giving his toys away to Bonnie, which is obviously in this movie, we get to see Bonnie again, you know, with her toys. But, you know, I think there's still room for exploring future stories with these characters, and it's going to be up to writers to just take their time. And, you know, I don't think that they will ever rush this series, but yeah, I definitely could see a Toy Story 5, you know, in the next, you know, 10 years or whatever. This is now becoming a generational thing.
Yep.
And it's pretty fun. It's nice to know that we were around for the first movie and to see this through. But you know, it's just a great series, and it's got my maximum focus, and I highly recommend seeing it. I mean, for myself, I mean, obviously I saw it in the theater, but, you know, I definitely recommend, you know, either going to go see this in the theater or definitely owning this. It's a keepsake as far as to the Toy Story library.
Yeah, I loved seeing the interviews with Tom Hanks and Tim Allen, because there were rumors just a few years ago that they didn't get along very well, and that they had, you know, their own relationship problems when recording, and now to kind of see them out and about doing multiple interviews and looking pretty buddy, and, you know, it's Hollywood, they're you know, professional actors, so, you know, you hope that it's real, you know, but you actually probably would never know.
What's funny, though, is that when they're recording their lines, like, they are, like, most of the time, I don't even think, like, they're together in one room. Like, they're literally recording.
Sometimes
they have a stand-in with the others doing their lines.
Yes. Now, they've even said that sometimes, you know, within filming this, they could go 6 months without recording any other pieces, and then 6 months later they get a call saying, hey, I need you to come in and record your lines for this. Yeah. And there was that big of jumps in between. And most of the time, like you stated, yeah, sometimes they were by themselves and they had other people stand in, and then there were other times when they would be together. And I think they were more together probably initially within the first and second movie than they are now. But definitely, there was definitely some butting heads that was in the news, I think a few years back. So it's kind of good to see that their relationship actually has now kind of evolved into a friendship, because I think people like seeing that, not only, oh, you know, Buzz and Woody, friends on screen, but I think it makes people feel good when they see, you know, the real life characters now being friends as well. I think that's always kind of a cool, neat thing as to kind of look into.
Hell yeah, man. They're buddies for life. Don't try to fucking tell the audience otherwise. I'm just kidding.
Don't taint Tom Hanks and Tim Allen.
Don't. Tom, how can you not get along with Tom Hanks? I mean,
he's a saint.
Yeah, he's a saint. Exactly. Dude, come on. He should be president.
I
Let's
fucking
go.
love Tom Hanks, man. I like his son, Colin Hanks. You know, I know we talked about Life in Pieces. That's one of my favorite shows. I know it just
hilarious.
ended. Did you hear that got canceled? Season 4 was the last.
Are you fucking serious?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Big time bummer. That was one of my favorite shows. If nobody's had a chance to watch Life in Pieces,
Yeah,
please
seriously.
go see some witty,
there
quick
might
banter.
be a petition for that. There might be a petition to save that because that is a great show.
Oh, it's great. It's great. It's just one of.
What network was that on? Was that NBC or ABC?
I think that was an ABC. Pretty sure.
Oh man, yeah. I hope either a streaming service or some other network picks it up. It was a great show.
Yeah. No, I loved pretty much everything about that show. So I'm hoping they pick that up as well.
James Brolin is freaking hilarious as well in that show.
Oh my god, dude, so funny. Just ridiculous.
Oh man.
Oh, Life in Pieces, CBS.
Oh, it's CBS.
That's
Okay.
right. I forgot. Yeah, that's on CBS. Yep. I'm pretty sure you can get a lot of the episodes on Hulu, I believe.
Yeah.
Yep.
My wife and I watch on Hulu. Yeah. Well, that's good to know. Well, damn, she's gonna be disappointed about that. Thanks a lot, Ryan.
Hey, I'm here to give the news, good or bad. Okay, Mike?
Good or bad, whatever the focus is, I'm here. Good or bad.
In the poster we released on Twitter, it said,
some bad news at the bottom. Very, very fine print.
it didn't say
Hurry up.
bad news.
Hey, hurry up. Go update that right now,
It said
dude.
breaking news, and this is breaking news, right? No. So sad to see that one go, but 4 seasons
Bummer.
worth is pretty damn good too. So a lot of them don't even make it past 2. So lucky to get what we got.
That's true. I felt like it was a more of a fresher version of like Modern Family. But
totally.
yeah.
100% agree. All right. Well,
Damn.
that's all I got on Toy Story. I know that you kind of headed that one up, which I appreciate. I definitely am going to go see it. Just haven't had the time, powering through all these Netflix shows that I've been watching.
Wait, hold up here. Which Toy Story is your favorite though? I just want to, I love Toy Story so much. So, which one, what are your call outs for your favorite?
I'm an
ones in Toy
original.
Story?
I'm an original guy, man. I like the first one was my favorite.
Okay.
I
Which
can't
part?
help it. I mean, I don't really have a particular part. I just loved the beginning kind of character build. I love how Buzz Lightyear thought he was a real toy. His, before he actually knew he was a toy, I loved how deep he got into his character about actually being a spaceman. And he was convinced he could fly. He was convinced he had a telecom. He was convinced he had a laser on his wrist. I mean, all these comedic, things that he would do along those lines for me. And Woody just being like, "You're a toy. You wake up." I loved the banter back and forth and the arguing before they became friends. I just thought that story was a lot of fun and different. Obviously, going forward, he knew he was a toy and all that stuff. But yeah, that was by far my favorite.
One thing I like to just mention, just because we haven't seen this since the first movie, was we've never seen from the ending of the first movie where obviously a toy acts upon someone in real life. Actually, obviously in the end of that movie, you see, Woody, speak to Sid, just to prove a point and to scare him, right? So I was actually intrigued to see in this movie if they would actually explore that a little bit, maybe have some type of moment. And I feel like, for me, the series will not have gone full circle until maybe there is a moment where whether it's Toy Story 5, 6, or whatever, where maybe Woody is reunited with Andy, and it would be something really special to see him actually talk to him, because at that point, my God, you're thinking it's been over 30 plus years or whatever it's been. What a message that could send, because I mean at this point, for life, as far as the toy Woody himself and Andy, life has gone full circle, right? So that'd be really, really neat to see.
Do you think Andy's first thing he would say is "God, I'm so sorry for all the things you had to see
Right?
in my bedroom.
So were you
I'm
there
so
the whole time?
fucking sorry."
Were you there during the years when I was finding things out about myself too? You didn't see the tube socks I hid under my bed, right? Oh man.
Oh, you gotta just imagine it's just a heartfelt apology.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean there's pros and cons with obviously seeing, that happen as far as an adult version of Andy, talking to Woody or whatever. But if written appropriately, I feel like it could be a really touching moment. So I don't know. We'll see. I don't think Toy Story is done after what we saw in this 4th iteration. So yeah, it's fun. Go check it out, dude. I definitely recommend it.
Awesome. All right, well, we're going to take a quick little break, and then when we come back, we're going to go over the ABC new series Stumptown, which was originally a graphic novel that's now coming to the screen. So just in a few minutes, we'll get back to you. All right, welcome back from that very short break. We are going to be now discussing, like I stated before, the ABC new series Stumptown, which is actually filmed in my old hometown of Portland, Oregon. What's
Shut up.
Shout out Portland.
No
Yes,
way.
Sir. Rip City.
Really?
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Gotta give my shout out, man. Gotta give my shout out.
Nice.
Yeah, this one was actually brought to me by my wife, who all of a sudden came across this.
Thanks, Nicole, if you're listening.
Yeah, thank you. She's not. No, I'm just kidding.
Such a sweetheart. She's so sweet.
She's so sweet. No,
Our
she's
wives, dude. Can we get a shout out to our wives real quick?
Absolutely.
Like, Nicole, Megan, you guys are awesome for putting up with this.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Thank God.
I mean, we are definitely taking time out of our personal lives to do this, but like they support us 100%, and it's awesome.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
so great to know that we have partners that support us like this.
We
So,
are lucky men.
Shout out.
Lucky men.
right?
Absolutely.
We're so lucky.
Yeah.
We're so lucky.
Yeah.
And we're so incredibly good looking as well. God.
Well, I know how good looking you are. I'm working on it. You know what I mean? Nothing a little
Oh,
plastic surgery
you
can't
you
fix.
sexy son of a bitch.
Yes. Thank you. I appreciate it. I needed that.
Yeah. Hey, I'd do you. I'd do you so hard. Oh, no.
Oh, Billy.
Oh, Billy! We forgot to talk about Billy in Stranger Things. Son of a bitch.
You know, it was we didn't want to give anything away, and Billy is a huge character in season 3.
It's true.
I know we
It's
wanted
true.
to give our, Billy from Cable Guy, bit, but, there's
Well, let's just put it this way. God, do we feel for you, Billy? Oh, God, Billy!
Oh, Billy.
Why did you touch it, Billy? Don't do it. Oh, don't do it, Billy.
So many meanings for Billy. So many.
Oh, it really is. Oh, man. All right, sorry. Anywho, Stumptown.
No. So my wife brought this to my attention, and she's like, hey, this kind of looked fun, but she brought it up to me more because it was filmed in Portland. She saw the preview for it, and it kind of caught her eye. And the more I looked into it, I was like, hey, this was actually a graphic novel. And we and you were just kind of looking into it, Mike, and we found out this was by, what is it, Omnipress Comics?
Yeah. Oni, whatever. Oni Press, whatever you want to say.
Tomato.
They've been in the business for 20 years, that sounds like, so they know what they're doing.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, this is a graphic novel, and hey, man, I mean, a lot of good shows can, or a lot of good material comes from graphic novels, so it's piqued my interest.
Absolutely. So I'm going to read this little excerpt I found online. This is more about the graphic novel than it is the show. You can only guess really how much it's going to relate to the graphic novel, but I'm guessing it's going to follow it pretty strongly if I had to guess. So I'm going to read this.
If it's anything like Walking Dead, not so much.
Not so much, right? I know. So many differences within that. But I'm going to read this just so we can kind of get an idea about at least the character, okay? So let's see. Superstar writer Greg Rucka, which did Whiteout Detective Comics, embarks on his first creator-owned series since the Eisner Award-winning Queen and Country. Dex is the proprietor of the Stumptown Investigations and a fairly talented PI. Unfortunately, she's less adept at throwing dice than solving cases. Her recent streak has left her beyond broke. She's into the Confederated Tribes of Wind Coast for 18 large. Damn! 18K.
That's it?
What if you were in the hole for
That's
18K? I mean, that's less than a
you
school
better
student loan, right? I feel like she's doing pretty well.
Better work a corner and start sucking some moolah, if you know what I'm saying.
All right, get us after that was been said. The rest of this says, but maybe Dex's luck is about to change. Sue Lin, head to the Wind of the Coast casino operations, will clear Dex's debt if she can locate Sue Lin's missing granddaughter. But is this job Dex's way out of the hole or a shove down one much, much deeper? Okay, so what I'm getting from that, and kind of what we talked
Real
about
deep.
off recording, is this is kind of reminding me of a lighter version of like a Jessica Jones, right?
With no superpowers.
Yeah, with no superpowers, but she's a kind of, I mean, you could tell she's kind of a mess. She's a compulsive gambler, right?
She's a train wreck. She is a huge mess. Yeah, you're right. Like, the gambling issue is a huge problem.
Huge problem. And if you guys watch the trailer on this, you will see her in the casino, so you do know they're pulling from that. So we're going to know right off the bat that she's going to get into some kind of huge debt with the casino, and possibly the way that this show can go is exactly how this was described. Somebody can come along offering her a way out of that debt to solve a crime, which really only makes sense to me. I mean, I don't see why you would have to change that really at all, right?
No, yeah, totally. I mean, here's the thing. You really risk it all if you get into, debt as far as gambling goes. I mean, you're really swimming with the sharks, as they say.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. I don't want to own anybody like that. But the cast on this is pretty great. I mean, some of the big namers, we got Jake Johnson, right? Which is, who played Peter B. Parker in the Spider-Verse movie. And then also, Kobe Smulders, who got the main lead role of Dex Perot, it is also from, obviously, the Avengers movies. So we got a couple Marvel people in the house, which is kind of cool to see.
No, that's awesome. This cast looks pretty strong.
You got Michael Ealy. He's been a detective in multiple shows, actually. I think he's played a cop in at least 2 other series that I've seen.
Yeah, I enjoyed him actually did you ever watch that Kevin Bacon series, The Following?
Yes, I really enjoyed that show.
So did I, and he played the villain in, season 2 or something? Yeah, I really enjoyed his role in that.
Yeah, I agree, man. That was actually a surprising one for me. I didn't think I was going to like that one as much as I did, but... so it's got to...
Well, it's Kevin Bacon. How do you go wrong with the bacon?
I know.
When the bacon's out, people come to eat. You know what I'm saying?
I still love that Halloween costume of somebody dressed up like a bacon with the name tag saying, "My name is Kevin." I know it's an old one, but it still gives me the giggles. You know what I mean?
Hi, I'm Kevin.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm Kevin. Oh, I love it, man. It gets me right in the jellies. You know what I mean? Makes my jellies tingle.
Oh, man.
It's the Peter tingle.
Just thinking that, oh, dude, good call. I like that. It is. It's the total Peter tingle.
Yeah. I get a Peter tingle at least 3 days. 3 days a week. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd say that.
Good shit. But seriously, though, Jake Johnson, this guy's fucking funny. I mean, I loved him in New Girl. He was great in that show
so
as well.
Funny,
and then I really missed his character in the second Jurassic World movie, because he was hilarious in the first Jurassic World film.
Yeah, he was the comedy relief, man.
He was, yeah. I mean, obviously you got Chris Pratt to kind of fulfill that role, but I definitely enjoyed his role in that first Jurassic World movie, and I felt Fallen Kingdom needed that, that second character. I know the other kid, was that kid's name? Justice something or whatever. The kid that, I don't know, the kid that's in Detective Pikachu. What's that kid's name?
Oh, you got his name right. It's Justice something. I can't remember.
It's Justice something, right? Yeah, he kind of fulfilled that role, but I really missed Jake Johnson's role because his character was just paying homage to the original Jurassic Park, which was really funny.
What is it about him that we like so much? I can't put my finger on it.
I feel like he just doesn't give a fuck, and he's himself in every role, and that is refreshing.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
you know what I mean?
His delivery,
even in even in the Spideyverse, he was playing an iteration of Spider-Man where hey man, I'm Spider-Man, no big deal, whatever. I broke up with Mary Jane and I'm fat now, so I'm here fighting crime.
Do you got any money on you? Because I'm not very liquid.
Yeah, exactly. It was just so on point and just really, really, it was really refreshing. So yeah, I for me, I'm definitely going to probably tune into the show just for him alone, because if this is setting up to be some type of drama, having him in there is going to be some great, some comic relief.
Yeah.
It's just going to be fun to watch.
It was categorized as a American crime drama. So, I mean, as always, there's going to be some comedy in there because they have to. And with actors like that, you can't not use them for what they're good at, and that's what they're good at.
He's absolutely perfect for that. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. Enough for me to tune in. I am biased because I do love just seeing shows in general. I was a huge fan of Grimm. when it was out as well. I saw them actually filming, around Portland, Oregon all the time, which was awesome. I saw the actors at basketball games. It was just really cool to kind of see the city I was living in and them filming into the same one. Just as people, live in San Francisco that got to see like Ant-Man and all those other big movies being made. It just kind of, I don't know, adds a little something to it because you're familiar with the territory and the terrain, which always makes it fun. I'm full into this. The fact that it's a graphic novel, it makes me want to go read that first off, and at least get a little more background of the character and kind of really dive into it. So we have till September 25th to kind of do a little more research and really take some time to give this one a fair chance.
Nice. And what network is showcasing this?
This is going to be on ABC.
Or was that NBC?
I think that was NBC.
Oops. ABC Family.
A for effort, buddy. A for effort.
Sorry. All right. I failed. Epic fail. My bad.
Yeah, I give your whole assessment on this a poor rating.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I mean, you're definitely the expert on this, but I'm intrigued. I am intrigued for sure. I'm definitely gonna probably check this out. And the fact that it's not tied to any DC Universe streaming app, I feel like it's got a good head start for itself. So I'm just gonna put that out there first.
Yeah, good call. Great call. Yeah, absolutely. Right off the bat, from what I see, I'll say, just from the trailer, I'm gonna give it an average focus. I'm gonna watch this fully, but because I just am not well versed into this character and with the graphic novel myself, and only getting little tidbits of information, I feel like it's only appropriate that I give it a focus rating. I think that it has the potential to be a great show, but we're just going to have to wait and find out, and I'm sure my focus meter level will change when I read some of these graphic novels. I'm sure that will get me a little more excited. So, yeah, I'm excited to get started on this one come September.
Yeah. So here's the funny part. So I'm probably this is just due to myself here, and I'm a little bit of an asshole, so that's okay. But I'm totally going to give this probably a poor focus, but here's my stipulation here. My wife checked out this trailer, and I can already tell this is her type of show, and she's totally going to watch this, and that means I'm probably going to have to watch this. So at that point, it's probably going to be getting my eventual average focus to full focus because... yeah, if we're definitely watching something in the house, it's going to be a joint effort. So I am definitely probably going to check this out as well. The fact that you're telling me that this is obviously from a graphic novel, which I have not heard of, gives me actually more reason to believe in this show. So, and like we just went over with the cast, like this looks pretty promising. So I'm definitely going to be checking it out for sure.
Yeah.
But for right now, it's a poor focus until I hear you otherwise from... obviously either for you or, my wife to see if I should be tuning into this because I feel like, we have a good collective mix as far as what we like and are interested in our shows. So it's kind of nice to hear from, someone else first before actually tuning in. So whether it's through you or someone else, I'll definitely be checking it out.
Yeah. Absolutely. All right. Well, that was Stumptown coming to ABC September 25th this year. So tune into that. Moving on to the
pop culture news.
No bumper, man.
Right?
I'm gonna have to. I'll have to sing a number. You know what I mean?
Please don't take that out. I worked really hard on that, Ryan. Please, promise me you won't do it.
For my sake, this is a non-editing podcast. We're gonna just stop editing altogether. Dude,
this is raw, filthy, and completely uncensored.
I don't like the description of it being raw. But I'm also okay with
We're about to raw dog this next segment. Here we go.
Oh, Jesus. All right. One that I know you, my friend, are extremely excited about.
Oh, are you ready for this, dude? Are you fucking ready,
Here
dude?
comes
so
Mike's Peter Tingle.
It's Mortal Kombat.
Oh, my God.
Dude.
Yes. Fucking
So,
finally.
Here's the deal, all right? I'm a little bit skeptical about the movie overall, but the thing is, hey, James Wan is helping to produce this, so I feel like it's got a good, solid chance. And also, they've taken so much time to get to this point. As far as, I mean, Mortal Kombat Annihilation, which was the last theatrical version of, the silver screen interpretation of Mortal Kombat that we've seen, was in 1997. So
wow,
we're talking over 22 fucking years until eventually seeing some type of rehash, reboot, whatever you want to call it at this point. So this week we got reported that they just casted a actor that is going to play Sub-Zero.
Fuck yeah.
And dude, all right, so here's my first initial response from this. Wow. It's Sub-Zero that first gets casted.
Love it.
What are your thoughts? Because I was thinking they were totally going to go Liu Kang with this, but I am super psyched that if we're going Sub-Zero, what does that mean? Are we going to have a Sub-Zero Scorpion film? Where are we going with this?
I immediately went back to the TV series Mortal Kombat Legacy, and if anybody remembers how they actually broke down each character, they dove deep into Sub-Zero. They dove deep into Scorpion, and those, I believe, were two of the main characters that we first got within that miniseries. And I fucking loved that. And so when they casted a actor for Sub-Zero, my brain went immediately to more of the Mortal Kombat Legacy story that we got than the previous ones before.
Which is crazy, because so what's funny is that when that web series came out, I think it was Kevin Tangerine was the director of that web series for, what is it, Machina's website or whatever, or Machina, right? Is that it?
Yeah,
Machina?
the Machina or whatever, yeah.
Yeah, I'm butchering it. I'm sorry. Whatever. So, anywho,
we don't speak Spanish,
dude. Yeah, come on. I mean, you expect me to pronounce that? Come on.
I know sign language.
Anywho,
that's it.
I mean, what I really liked about that series, because that was literally a series that was trying to push the series forward as far as is this enough of a proof of concept to show that Mortal Kombat can still relate to to feature film? Because what they did in that series was they did little snippets of all these different characters and do their backgrounds and their character arcs and basically in what it was a 10-15 minute short, you would see a character kind of get fleshed out as far as its origin to its becomings to whatever storyline they chose for those segments. So that was I believe maybe late 2000s, right? 2008, 2009?
Here we are. No. That's 2011 to 2013.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. All right, so not that long ago then. All right.
It feels a lot longer. A lot's happened in between then.
It does. A lot's happening.
And a lot of people, to be honest, man, I ask a lot of people about Mortal Kombat Legacy, and a lot of people haven't even heard of it.
Yeah, I mean, if you weren't online, you didn't see it. So it's
that's
not like
what I mean.
Was, yeah, unless you walked in to a Best Buy or a Target or whatever you shop or whatever, and you saw it on a Blu-ray, on an actual Blu-ray copy, you wouldn't even know, right? So it was interesting, because I believe at that time the biggest selling point was that they got Michael J. White to play Jax, right?
Yep.
And then they got, I forget her name, but someone pretty important from the Star Trek series. I forget her name. It might be Gina something, but whatever. She played Sonya Blade. And at that point, I mean, for me, I was just excited to see that Mortal Kombat was getting some type of relevance again.
Jerry Ryan played Sonya Blade.
Thank you. So at that point, I'm just thinking, it's great to see that Mortal Kombat's getting some type of relevance at the time, because at this time, the game itself, the gaming franchise, was kind of in limbo, because this was due to the time where Midway was filing for bankruptcy, and we didn't really know if Mortal Kombat was going to exist anymore. And with that, Warner Brothers swooped in, completely bought the rights, and now owns the franchise as well as the other Midway franchises. But whatever, they did totally have Mortal Kombat intact, and with that, we've seen the Mortal Kombat license from 2009 to now just grow into the point where it's now warranted a feature film adaptation again. And I'm just so stoked, because for me, I know we've gone over this before, it's one of my favorite gaming franchises. I'm just so enthralled by the story. I can't wait for this film, because I honestly feel James Wan is gonna definitely do a faithful adaptation as far as helping out this director who is literally, I think it's his first time directorial role as Simon McCoy, right? And this movie is being is in full production right now in Australia, right? So this is very, very big as far as they don't film movies very often in Australia as far as full production goes. So this is very, very big for that country, and it's very, very big for Warner Brothers and this franchise, because I feel like there's a lot at stake, but I'm super excited to see where this can go, because the potential for the actual story and the material for this franchise is tremendous. And I've always believed that one day we will get a faithful adaptation in film, as much as we've had through some of the stories that we've seen in the games. Obviously, the last two iterations with Mortal Kombat 11 and Mortal Kombat X, we definitely have seen that, through this, some of the strongest points in those games are the actual story mode themselves. So with that, it's definitely warranted to this point to get an actual feature-length film. So with this week, they definitely announced that they casted their Sub-Zero, and this actor who's actor/martial artist, right? Joe Taslim.
Oh, yeah.
And
yep.
What's he from, Ryan?
So he's actually known from a Cinemax series called Warrior. He made his screen debut, in a directed cut film called The Raid. And then his other credits include The Night Comes For Us. So he's been in a few different films, all of which have to do with some kind of fighting martial arts, of course. The fact of the matter is, I'm not too familiar with this guy's work, which I actually way more enjoy. I'd rather get somebody that I don't know who does a lot of, maybe independent type films or, Cinemax type, whatever, than any headliner actor right now for this role. I mean, give me anybody new and fresh so it can be literally a fresh take on these characters, and I'm fucking in, man. So that only excited me even more. And of course, I've said it before, Sub-Zero is my favorite fucking character. So me getting that right off the bat, man, I was jacked up about it. I was pumped, man. I can't wait to see who they cast going forward. I'm very excited to see this come to life.
No, I'm super psyched too. And I hope this Joe Taslim is playing, obviously, Bihan, which is the first iteration Sub-Zero that we see, which is the one that's actually co-responsible for potentially killing Scorpion's family and clan. So I'm hoping that whoever they cast for Scorpion, what's really funny is that I wouldn't be opposed for the actor that they had in the Striking Vipers episode, whoever played Lance, right? That avatar. I would not be.
You keep bringing this up to me, and
I feel like he would be a great Scorpion, but I mean, there's the other guys out there as well. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. So, I mean, obviously they have not released any plot details yet, but the fact that they're actually announcing casting, actual casting calls at this point, to announce that Sub-Zero is the first that's casted, I would have to feel like he's a significant role in this film. So that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, and that's kind of why I brought up the legacy.
Yeah.
Because I feel like you don't announce that being your first hire
Yep.
in a film like Mortal Kombat with all the characters that we all know, without him being a huge significant part of it.
And what's really, really cool is that if they decide with this movie is to not actually lead up to the Mortal Kombat tournament, is to actually, give it more of a backstory so that it can actually lead into some, potential sequels that will actually lead up to the eventual tournament of Mortal Kombat. Because what's interesting about the first movie is that you had this tournament that gets, shown to you on the silver screen, but you're literally introduced to these wide array assortment of characters right from the get-go, but you really have no idea of their full origin. So if they decide to actually make this a long-running series where maybe they have different iterations and different sequels where they can build up to it, kind of like obviously an Infinity War type thing, they could totally do that if they wanted to. Mm-hmm. So we'll see. I mean, it's also too, who knows? It says it's currently titled Mortal Kombat. Maybe it's titled something else that is just subtitled below Mortal Kombat, right? It could be
with a C.
Exactly. No, it's got to be a K. It's got to be a K, motherfucker.
Just a little change that would just affect everybody's mood, and everybody there'd be a huge fucking outrage.
I think there'd be a bigger mutiny over that versus like the appearances of what Sonic looked like after the first go around.
No way,
Sonic
man.
movie.
No way.
What do you mean Mortal Kombat with the C? What the fuck is this shit?
What do you mean Sonic Hedgehog has long legs and teeth?
Yeah. Dude, that's Sonic. Oh, God, don't even get me started. But, yeah, it just looks like a humanoid version of Sonic, which looks creepy as hell.
Yeah, I mean, especially after we see, how well they do on Detective Pikachu, and then to give us that kind of rendition of Sonic, it's like, you fucking losers.
Dude, I've told you, man, I feel like that's the biggest, drawing card for people why they started bitching was because they saw how well that art style translated for Detective Pikachu, and they're like, how the fuck could you not have done this for Sonic? He literally is a fuzzy little creature, if not a Pokemon himself. How could you fuck this up?
Yeah. Did I ever tell you about that story of me waking up to the Mortal Kombat song?
Do tell.
It was horrible. It was one of the worst morning experiences I've ever had.
I don't want to hear that. I want to hear that it's a beautiful morning experience and that it enriched your life and that now you found meaning in it.
Have you ever been woken up at 4 a.m. to fucking Mortal Kombat theme song full blast on your alarm? Whoa.
Honestly, it wouldn't even bother me.
Epinephrine in the fucking chest, right in the heart. Oh, I jumped out of
Crank
bed.
style, Jason Statham, right?
Oh my God, dude. I jumped out of bed, fists clenched, sweating immediately. I don't even know how that's possible. It just all of a sudden sweat started pouring out of my glands. I was so stressed out. I don't even know how. I was literally camping, and I think one of my buddies took my phone and somehow put that on. I don't know how it was even done. It was horrifying. It was the worst way to wake up ever. It was too intense, man. I thought I was going to have a mini heart attack. It was insane.
Oh, damn. You said you were camping. I was going to say, so did you woke up right away and, you fired up your SNES and, started playing Mortal Kombat 3 or something? What did you exactly do?
Man, if I was at home,
that sounds like
I
a
definitely
calling
would've.
To, get going. Let's get at it.
Yeah, and then, I listened to it later in the day, and it was all fun.
Nice.
One of those songs that, back in the 90s that I totally thought I was hot shit, and I'd totally work out to that song.
Oh, dude.
Dude,
I still listen to that song and think I'm hot shit, so I don't know what you're talking about, all right?
Okay, well,
I'm living the dream, bro, okay?
Yes, sir, you are. No shame in your game, I appreciate.
I'm pretty sure I went to high school dances pre-gaming to the Mortal Kombat song thinking they were going to play something as awesome as that theme music there.
Can you imagine
and
your
turns
date?
out they didn't. It was just either NSYNC or Backstreet Boys, so...
Play with your heart.
Yeah. And I wanted Sub-Zero's way. Tell me why. Get over here and kill me straight. Tell me why.
That's Scorpion's favorite song.
I know, right? So bad. So bad.
No, so I am very excited for this movie. Can't wait to see the casting even further come out. I don't know where they're going to take it, so I can't give any kind of rating. I honestly can't. There's not enough information, storyline, anything, other than us just kind of bringing you the news on this about the newest hire to play Sub-Zero. So that's all I got on Mortal Kombat. How about you?
Well, I'm going to be honest. If we ever had a ultra maximum focus, this would be mine for sure. Absolutely.
I don't even know what ultra maximum focus would be.
Dude, I don't even know what that means either. But I'm literally seizuring at the idea right now.
I think it's Adderall, coffee, and I don't know, something else, and that would give you your ultra maximum focus.
Ultra maximum focus. Yeah. Finish it.
No, dude,
fucking finish me. Wait, what?
What? Finish you? No,
Friendship
if you
again?
bet for it, I can't do it.
Yeah. Oh my god, could you imagine that? If the Mercies in Mortal Kombat said that?
Beg for it. Mercy him.
Oh my gosh, that's even more awesome.
Oh man. Dude, did you... So, speaking of Mortal Kombat in general, but have you seen that Mortal Kombat 11's first DLC character was Shang Tsung, who was actually Kerry Tagawa, which was the original actor in the first Mortal Kombat movie that portrayed him in this game?
No, I didn't say that. I know they brought that character back in Legacy as well.
So yeah, dude, like I'm playing right now, and I'm literally fighting as the Kerry Tagawa actor as Shang Tsung in Mortal Kombat 11.
That's
and it's
awesome.
fucking awesome. Like he literally did all the voice work and everything. Like your soul is mine. Like he did all that shit. It was fucking fantastic.
Dude, one of my really close friends, I guess that's where he got it from. He loves saying that.
Oh hell yeah, dude!
just
it's
loves
fucking
it. And now
brutal, dude.
I didn't even put that actually together until just
Like-
this minute.
Dude, the fucking beginning of that film, right? Like he cracks his brother's back and like
Yep.
looks at Liu Kang in the eye and goes, "Your brother's soul is mine. You will be next."
Yeah.
And just bam, it just goes right into Mortal Kombat.
Love
Like
it.
holy shit.
Love it, man.
Love
God,
it.
it's one of my favorite just all-time video games. Now,
Yeah,
I mean,
psyched.
even the movies we got in the early 90s, they were your typical early 90s movies. I still loved them. Legacy, I really appreciated just in my older age, and now, yeah, I am very, very excited. I can't wait to see what actually comes out of this.
No, same here. And you know, I mean, for how long it's been, I feel like they've taken their time, and now I feel like the franchise has definitely built up some more steam. Because I mean, obviously through the mid 2000s, whatever, like they were kind of dwindling a bit as far as losing momentum with like Street Fighter and whatnot. And now I feel like Mortal Kombat is as more relevant as it's ever been. And with that, this is just a perfect segue into getting the next iteration of a feature film. So it's for a new generation, right? So I mean, we're seeing that a lot nowadays as far as rebranding and reboots. So yeah, let's have at it, and give me another good song that I can rock out to for the next 30 years, because it's been fun the past 20 years. So
Fuck yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
man, absolutely.
Right?
All right, so we're gonna move on, if that's good with you, Mike.
I guess so. But I'll just go to another franchise I absolutely love. But
We're
yeah,
going to go and dive into not only another franchise you love, but we're going to be talking about kind of the same thing. We got a new hire on a new film coming out that doesn't have a lot of information, and that is the Saw reboot.
Beep-doop, beep-boop, beep. This just in. Beep-doop, beep-boop, beep. Oh, dude. All right,
Yeah,
so
man. Why don't you
we
kick us off a little bit about, I mean, you definitely know the Saw just all-around series more than I do, so tell us a little bit about it.
All right, so here's the deal. When I first, I'm pouring another shot here at Maker's Mark, because it's time to get real here on the podcast. And
Please.
I mean, I feel like we gotta really, expand our horizons a bit. So,
Is that what they call it?
with that, yeah, I guess so. Whatever. So, with that said, here's the deal. I mean, Saw 1 and 2, I felt for me was the highest points of the series, and after that, I felt like they were just cash cowing it and just trying to beat records and box office records. And at that point, like, they were trying to actually stay true to the John Kramer Jigsaw story. But after Saw 3, I don't know if you've seen Saw 3, but that's actually when John Kramer himself actually dies. And at that point, from Saw 4 to 7, or Saw 3D, which is the 7th iteration, at that point, they're just dragging it out with trying to either reconnect with the other parts of Jigsaw's life that he had different games set up and whatnot. And then the one that came out like 2-3 years ago, Jigsaw, that was literally, at this point, with not actually spoiling anything, which, I mean, I'm just going to go ahead and say it is a spoiler, so spoiler alert, was totally a prequel of all the Saw movies. So it honestly touches, as far as that movie goes, it touches on the last end of like Saw, 3D, which was Saw 7, and then it touches on prior to Saw 1, like what happened prior to the events of the first movie. So when I first heard about that, Chris Rock, of all people, Chris freaking Rock, like SNL's Chris Rock, like, are you kidding me? Like, he comes forth to New Line and pitches this. Apparently, like I guess everyone had their jaws just dropped at this pitch, but he comes and pitches this story idea of where to take this character forward in the next iteration of whether it's in the Saw film franchise or just rebranding Saw, altogether. he blows it away apparently. And from what it sounds like I think it's Darren Lynn Johnson, I believe, who is the previous director of, I think, Darren Lynn Boseman, who directed 3 of the 7 Saw movies in the franchise, is actually on board to direct this movie, and Chris Rock is starring in this film. And this week it got announced that Samuel L. Jackson, everybody, is going to be in this film.
Yeah.
Now, as far as top actors appearing in a Saw franchise film, like, we go from the very first Saw to obviously Danny Glover to Donnie Wahlberg in the second movie, and obviously Carrie Ells, famous from Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, and obviously Liar Liar, and a bunch of other great movies. Obviously, Stranger Things season 3, he's in that as well. So, the famous Dr. Gordon character. So, to get a character, to get an actor like Samuel L. Jackson for this type of like franchise, I just feel, for me in a horror movie, this is an A-lister. I know, like, we had this talk earlier, like, oh yeah, like Samuel L. Jackson's just like kind of down to do anything these days, but pretty big news. He is. I totally am not going to disagree on that, but I don't know what it is. Like, this just feels different. Like, the fact that he thinks that he's on board to jump onto a series that kind of feels at this point has been exhausted. Like, we've seen so many iterations of all these different films that have just, they've definitely, have exhausted the gore porn to some extent, but they've tried to stay true to, the Jigsaw character. So I'm a little bit intrigued to see where they could take this, the next direction for this film.
Yep.
And from what I'm hearing, I can't help but not be a little bit like excited, because for me this has got a full focus for me, because I love horror movies in general. So for me, the first Saw movie, obviously there's a lot of connection to the movie 7 as far as where the inspiration of Saw came from.
What's in the box?
Yeah, what's in the box, right? So yeah, James Wan, I love him as a director, and obviously this is his baby. He started this franchise, so to see it still continuing to this day is very exciting, right? And obviously you just saw the Annabelle movie or whatnot, but I love the Conjuring series. I love the Insidious series. I think he's a great horror director, and outside of right now Jordan Peele, who's kind of like the new Hitchcock, James Wan, as far as horror goes, is almost an A-lister. So I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued to see where this can go, and this latest casting has me excited. At the time when Saw was released, obviously Danny Glover was a big actor at that time, but he was also probably pretty. I don't want to say he was desperate for work at that time, but he hadn't really done much since, so he was kind of stretching outside of his own means. So to get Samuel L. Jackson, who obviously is one of the more overworked actors in Hollywood, to get his attention, this just sounds exciting. So we'll see where it goes. I definitely have my full focus on it, and Ryan, feel free to shit all over it. No, I'm just kidding.
When did you become the positive person and I became the negative? Dylan would be so proud of us.
I know, he'd be so proud. Dylan, if you're listening, and I know you are, like, see what happens?
Captain Shitbag is taking over right here.
There it is, right here. People know. People who know me know that I love this series, but I know it's drifted away throughout the years, for sure. I will not sit here and contest that. I know it's not what it once was, for the first 2 movies.
2004 was the first. 2005, all the way to 2010. They had one come out every single year for 7 years.
Which is impressive as fuck, dude. Like, that's amazing.
That's amazing, is what I was getting at. And then from 2010, nothing until 2017, from what you were just talking about being Jigsaw. So they had a nice little 7-year gap, and now we're getting another rendition of it here, I believe, what is this, coming out 2021?
I believe
2020?
so.
2020.
Yeah, I believe so.
Next year.
And what's funny is that, what kind of replaced the year-to-year, movie horror franchise was obviously at the time was near the end of Saw was Paranormal Activity. Mm-hmm. So when that took over, obviously, people were exhausted by Saw, and then obviously 4 or 5 years goes by, people are exhausted by Paranormal Activity, and then they made the Jigsaw movie. And at this point, I'm not saying the Jigsaw movie was amazing or anything. It was meh. Like, it wasn't that great, and to anyone else's standards, it probably sucked. So, for me, at this point, to sit here and see that they're still trying to plug away at this franchise, I can't help but be intrigued due to the fact that the successes that we've seen, and obviously the Halloween franchise, where David Gordon Green is... he completely reinvented that series as far as his later iteration in Halloween, that movie that obviously came out last year. I was absolutely blown away. Like, it was such a fresh, refreshing take to actually ignore the previous sequels and just to actually make a film that's true to heart to the original and just make it a sequel to that as itself, as like going off on its own basis. Like, it's a direct sequel to the first movie. So I don't know where this film is going to go, but it sounds like it's going to kind of pick off of all the other murders in the Jigsaw universe. So we'll see where it goes. But
yeah, I mean, like I've stated before, I watched Saw 1 through 3 and then I stopped. Yeah. And the only reason being is, again, for me, having that much repetition of kind of like the same thing, I get bored very easily. And that's kind of why I even touched base on that with Stranger Things Season 3. There was enough changes to where it made it feel a little more fresh and we weren't getting the same, tortured stuff that we got within the first two. That's kind of how I felt with this. So, actually, this being brand new, it's going to get me just out of curiosity alone. I mean...
yeah, and as it should. But what I was just going to say was, just to get you a little bit hooked on the original movies, like, go check out Saw 4, because I'm going to give you a little tidbit here. It kind of directly connects to Saw 3. And at that point, you kind of, like, so after Saw 4, Saw 5 is actually the real Saw 4, so to speak. Which
and I've gone
might... exactly. So what I'm trying to say is, watch Saw 4, you might actually be able to finish the whole series. Because I could totally see like how people drifted off after Saw 3. Because at that point, like, you're like, okay, dude, he fucking died. Like, what else is going on here? These are just copycats.
Yeah.
Like, who cares at this point?
Exactly.
Right?
Yep.
So, yeah, I mean, I'm going to say right now, like, if you're someone that obviously watched the first two movies, I definitely encourage at least finish it, because I've always said this to myself, is that these movies have kind of always connected themselves as like a TV show. Like, it's just a TV series, and each chapter is its own, episode. So just finish the damn show is what I basically would like to say.
Okay, well, that was very pushy and aggressive, so I guess I'll do it.
Fucking do it. Do it now.
Do it now. Do it now. All right. Well, we still got a few topics. We can either take a little break and use the old potty, or
what's your focus on it,
What would you like to do?
You completely derailed. What's your focus?
Well, I mean, my focus on this has to be a maximum focus, man. Again, there's too many questions right now to answer. Damn. And the curiosity of people who they're actually casting for this. I know Chris Rock's playing a cop in this movie. I know Samuel L. Jackson is playing Chris Rock's dad in this movie. That's been confirmed. Mm-hmm. It's just going to be very interesting to see, how they make this fresh. And I think they're redoing this because they have an idea and a plan to do that, to kind of bring it back to kind of its original glory, which that intrigues me. That gets me to a maximum focus when somebody is confident enough to take a 7 to 8 movie series of movies and feel confident enough to kind of bring in their own rendition of it. So yeah, it's got my maximum focus.
And this is ambitious as hell too, because it sounds like it's going to take into account all the other movies as far as the lore goes, and to connect it all somehow. So, I mean, obviously that was not the case for the Halloween movie that came out in 2018.
No.
So, I mean, at this point, I'm just so intrigued. Obviously, because Chris Rock is attached to this. I mean, my God, this is a comedian, for God's sake. Like,
a comedic genius. For this.
Comedic genius. Like he came forward with this. Like, what the hell was brewing in his mind? And the fact that these Hollywood writers signed off on this. It's just it's crazy. I mean, how could you not be intrigued by it?
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Yeah. It's got my maximum focus or full focus for sure.
Yeah.
Full
Cool,
focus. Sorry, bud. Sorry.
Well, I'm actually going to go and be the decision maker on this one. I have to go to the restroom, so we're going to take a quick break, and then we will come right back.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. Welcome back. Had to take a little tinkle. So, really?
Well, a little Ryan tinkle. This is Ryan was tinkling.
I went through a series of emotions, though, on this quick little break, Mike. I ran out of vodka. I was very upset. I have not gone...
Looks like we're going to wrap this up.
I have not gone to the store and purchased any alcohol in a while, and I've ran through quite a few bottles doing this show, which I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing to talk about, but...
you have a Costco membership, right?
I do.
Yeah. All right, good. And the family's out of town this week, right?
They are. Yeah, they are.
So, I mean, you're ready to load up.
I am, but here's the deal. I, out of nowhere, came across a handle of Seagrams. 7.
Oh,
so
you
I just
sexy son of a bitch.
Put some ice cubes in my cup, found some whiskey, and now sipping on that. It's kind of switching over, which not necessarily a great idea, but doing it anyway.
I'm feeling at this point, we might as well just go 3 hours. I mean, might as well. Why don't we just do a PCL Faithful, if you know what I'm saying?
A tribute.
Yeah, a tribute. I don't know how those guys do it. Holy shit.
It's impressive. And now, being on the show for an episode, and I cut out early because I had to do, daddy duties. They stayed on another, hour and 45 to 2 hours after I got off, and I was on there for a while. So, I mean, it is impressive.
God, and what time did they start? They started at like 4 o'clock?
We started around, I believe it was 6.
Ugh. And you were out like at 9:30?
I got off like at 10, almost, like 9:30, 10 o'clock.
Holy, wow. So they must just sign off and go straight to bed then.
Yeah, I don't know what they do. I think they're just superheroes and somehow are able to
I think they are.
Stay up and do it. Yeah, no, but then, I find my Seagrams, right? And I put a couple of cubes of ice in my cup, and just out of living in Arizona, muscle memory took over and my brain shut off. I went straight over to my water and just filled up my entire cup with water. And I was like, wait a minute, that's not what I wanted to do at all.
That's your survival instincts talking to you, Ryan. You might want to listen to that.
It's so dry here, Mike. It's so dry.
I mean, what is it? What is it, like 113 right now?
It was 112 today. It's going to be 114 in the next 2 days. Yeah.
God, does anybody know that you live in hell? Like, I don't think so.
Yeah, if I could just meet the man who invented air conditioning, I'd kiss him right on the mouth. I don't even care.
Right in the mouth. I'd slip him some tongue.
It would be a passionate, loving, caring kiss. I don't even care.
Yeah, I'd be like that kissing SNL skit with Paul Rudd, right? Where they just they just go at it with each other, like it's just
it'd get weird.
Balls to the wall. It gets really weird real quick.
Yeah, it'd be a Black Mirror episode for sure.
Striking Vipers.
Vipers. I call
X stands for fuck.
Awesome. All right, so we got 2 more topics to go over with you guys.
3 more.
Oh, yeah. Well, 2 1/4. All right.
2 1/4. All right.
Fair enough. Right. We'll make that.
Hey, we got to wrap it up, buddy. Okay, let's we can't go all night. What are you thinking here?
All right. So we got a newish. This is going to be a sequel from the 2014 Disney Maleficent. That came out, like I said, 2014. Man, that's another 4 or 5 year jump, Mike.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. So. When this movie came out, I mean, this is 2014, and this was I'm honestly, I mean, I might be wrong, but I believe that this was the first live action Disney, classic cartoon to live action. And from the success of this film alone, that's what kind of spawned this, animated to live action conversion that we've been seeing throughout, the last 5+ years of, Cinderella, Jungle Book, Beauty and the Beast, Dumbo, and all these other movies, right? Like Aladdin.
Yep.
And now, coming out in 2 weeks, Lion King, right? So from this moment on, like, this is I believe from just the overall success of this film, it's obviously warranted a sequel. And what I really enjoy about this film versus the others as far as live action remakes is the fact that this is a completely different take on Sleeping Beauty itself. And the original film Maleficent, it definitely focused more on, obviously, the villain and showing her character arc and her origin as opposed to what we've all grown up with, knowing that Maleficent is some obviously some evil villain who is from this animated movie that we all know and love, Sleeping Beauty, right? So this is very interesting because like you were saying to me earlier, Ryan, today that we've been seeing this more often now, right? Where we're even seeing more stories get explored as far as seeing the villain side and maybe seeing it from a heroine, perspective versus obviously seeing it from the villain side for so many iterations and so many years. So for me, I saw Maleficent back in 2014. I'm gonna have to rewatch it because it's been almost 5+ years by the time this movie comes out. But I'm intrigued. I'm definitely gonna check it out. And I mean, it seems like it's got everyone as far as the original cast
different directors, different writers.
Director, which is okay. But I mean, as long as it's got the original cast, I feel at this point. I mean. It's not like the first movie was groundbreaking by any means, but it definitely sparked the interest into, wow, like where could we? Is there a possibility that we can entertain the idea of seeing live action Disney films from their animated originals, translate well to the silver screen? And Maleficent was to me was the first that did this, and. I mean, before that, I think we did have the 101 Dalmatians, live action films.
Of course, but that
was a long time ago, right? So
very.
Maleficent obviously kind of sparked this re-interest in this genre. So,
well, directly after this, I believe in 2015 is the first time we saw like Cinderella when that came out. So
yes.
You're absolutely correct. It's gone from that, and then 2015 with Jungle Book, and then so forth and so forth into what now we're seeing today with. Not only this, but like you said, Lion King coming in 2 weeks. So it's definitely been getting more and more popular since the first adaptation of Maleficent came out.
Yeah, totally. And as far as Maleficent, the character herself, like Angelina Jolie did a marvelous job as far as in the first film. So
not surprising.
Yeah, I mean, she embodies this character to its to its core. So I'm very, very excited to see, where this character can go next. As far as, if for those that haven't seen the first movie, she kind of obviously takes more of a mentorship type role to Aurora, which is Sleeping Beauty. Her character in that, in that first movie where she kind of plays the,
which is her goddaughter.
Which is her goddaughter, and she kind of looks after her and whatnot, right? So she's not so much a vengeful villain as first portrayed in the classic Disney animated classic. So this is a different take, and I kind of like that, which is honestly more fresh and actually more different than we've seen in the other live action remakes, because I feel like all those are more closer to one-to-one more one-to-one interpretations. So, yeah, from what I saw from that trailer, it looks pretty interesting. I am intrigued to see that Maleficent is going to have to encounter, the other fairies that are obviously, she's going to have to honestly encounter, the fairies that, that are actually part of her origin, and we're gonna get introduced to new characters that we've never even heard of. So it's gonna be interesting. So we'll see. I mean, at this point, it's got my average focus, but that doesn't mean I'm not interested at all. I'm just I'll definitely check it out. I don't know if I'll run straight to the theaters to go see this, but I'm definitely gonna obviously either rent it or purchase it later when it comes out. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to give it an average focus as well. I only actually saw snippets of the first one. It was on some kind of premium channel thing on my TV for a stint, and I turned it on, and then I just kind of went back and forth and saw different scenes. So I've actually never seen the whole thing front to the beginning to end, which I do need to do. But from what I see in the trailer, I mean, it looks entertaining enough. Like you said, Angelina Jolie jumps into really any character that she gets, hired on, which is not surprising that she looks like she's really going, out on this. And the other cast members we got looks good. I mean, Michelle Pfeiffer is a big name actress, and she's in this as well. And she looks to be a pretty significant role in the trailer, at least too, where they seem to be butting heads and kind of, her enemy, in this as well. So, yeah, I'm going to give her an average focus. I think the CGI, from what we see, looks really just a lot better than what we saw in the first one also, just giving those 5 years of us figuring more out as time goes on. I mean, it's just getting more clear, right? I mean, it's just becoming just more beautiful on screen, and seeing all the, storybook characters and all the fairies and all the animation they do makes it just come to life and a lot more fun. And it looks like that's what it looks like. I would say that when I watch that trailer, it looks like a fun movie, right? Like, it's going to be entertaining, but it just looks to be fun to me. It looks like a lot of magic, a lot of fantasy, drama, and just, I probably won't jump out to go see it in theaters, but it'll definitely be one that I actually eventually see for sure. So, yeah, give her my average focus.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't have said it better myself. I'm just going to reiterate that, I mean, I did mention before, but that Michelle Pfeiffer is in this movie as well, and she kind of plays the counterpart as far as she is the queen that's trying to win Aurora back, which is Sleeping Beauty, and at this point, Maleficent is almost a mother figure to Aurora, so
yeah, jealousy comes into play.
Exactly. So I'm so intrigued to see them feud it out and to fight over, obviously Sleeping Beauty, and to see where that goes. So yeah, with that said, I feel I'm definitely intrigued to see where this goes, but I'm also hesitant to the fact that, is this, it has, I hope that the fact that it's been 5+ years, they have actually fleshed out a story that makes sense, because at this point, I mean, at this point, there's no other reference material as far as where the story really goes. This is all fabricated at this point, so this is going to be all new, fresh material.
Sure,
which is kind of refreshing and kind of cool. But I mean, to anyone that's who's any skeptic, who knows? Who knows what could happen? So, well, we'll see. I believe this movie comes out
my anniversary, October 18th.
Nice.
Yes, sir.
Nice.
I'll be like, hey, sweetie, guess what movie we're going to go see? And then she'll be like, a Disney movie? Come on. I like murder, death, mayhem.
Well, there might be some of that in this. I mean, who knows?
Yeah, she likes the real stuff. I come home and she's watching, the ID channel, just straight up murder mysteries.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, you told me that before.
Yeah, she says as a mom, with all the cartoons she has to watch, that watching pure murder mystery shows kind of evens her out a little bit. So, yeah. But then she scares herself also. So then all of a sudden she's like, can you make sure our alarm is on tonight? I'm like, you scared yourself watching those shows, didn't you? And she's like, maybe. I'm like, okay. All right. Well, maybe don't watch them when you're by yourself so you don't freak yourself out.
Yeah, man. You gotta know your threshold of what your tolerance level is for sure.
And so that was Maleficent, Mistress of Evil, coming out October 18th. 2019.
Soon. Very soon.
Very soon.
For especially seeing a trailer, this is the first time we've seen any type of teaser trailer or whatever. So, yeah, very soon.
Yep. All right. Well, moving on to our next Disney movie, my friend. This is like Disney Day right here. This one was a surprise for me, man.
I mean, come on, man. I mean, Disney owns everything, right?
They own everything, but this one was a surprise for me. I figured all of these are going to be coming to live action. I just didn't know how soon. But in 2020, they are giving us the live action Mulan. which, came out in 1998 as the cartoon, and obviously did very, very well for itself, and some iconic songs in there that are considered some of the top now Disney songs just in general. What did you think about the cartoon when you watched this for the first time?
I absolutely adored the original animated classic. So for me, it's probably one of the. I mean, I never saw from end to front Princess and the Frog, but for me, Mulan and Atlantis were probably the last animated classics as far as the 2D animation goes that I probably have seen from Disney. So. Mulan itself, I mean, just what a incredible, powerful character as far as a female lead, and just an amazing character. So I'm not surprised to see this in a live action, a live action interpretation so soon. But I am a little bit like hesitant to see like, wow, is this almost too soon? Because I mean, we've almost at this point, we've already skipped over like, what was it? Little Mermaid and Pocahontas as far as like the Disney timeline of animated classics.
Sure. And Little Mermaid's on its way out too. They're casting for that exactly. Right now.
They're casting that for right now. So it seems like they're just going in whichever order that they appropriately see fit. So whatever works. From what I saw from the trailer, I'm interested. It looks good. It looks pretty good. As far as my only questions I have, I didn't see any hint in that character of a Mushu character, which was the
Give me Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, where's the Eddie Murphy, little dragon character?
I've heard those will not be in this film.
Yeah, and if that's true, that's a bummer.
That's a bummer.
A total bummer. Yeah, because I thought he was obviously. With any of these, these Disney classics, or whether it's surrounded around a Disney princess, there's obviously that little sidekick character which is the animal character that obviously ties into all those Disney princesses, and obviously Mushu was that for Mulan, right? So seeing this trailer and not seeing that that voice of conscience in Mushu was a little bit, I don't want to say it was super disappointing, but I was just waiting.
I was
waiting for it. I'm like,
I was pretty disappointed.
Yeah, so I'm just like, where is it going to happen, right? So what you're telling me right now, it's not going to happen for sure. Absolutely.
I mean, that's what's been talked about online right now. That has been as of right now. That's said confirmed that character will not be any kind of live action talking dragon of any kind. I don't think they're going to be bringing any of that animated kind of stuff to life like that. I think they're going to do all live action, no fantasy on that kind of stuff at all.
Yeah, that's a bummer. That's like her version of like Jiminy Cricket, like that's pretty big. So,
good old Jiminy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm sure they'll work around it, but for what it's worth, like all these great Disney classics have such great musical scores. So I'm more excited for the music of this movie because I really enjoyed the soundtrack of the original Mulan.
Yeah, me too. And that's what I was saying. It's definitely songs. Yeah, I believe it won a couple of awards for a couple of their solos in there. And then when you go top 20 on best Disney songs just ever in general, Mulan is definitely within, I think, the top 10. So, I mean, they did a great job with that soundtrack. So hopefully they continue that and bring some of that original with a new spin, going into the live action. I think that'd be kind of neat.
No, that'd be awesome.
Plus, dude, when you look at the cast, my boy Donnie Yen, Mr. Ip Man himself, is in this playing Commander Tung. And then, what about Jet Li playing the Emperor, man? We were just talking about where's Jet Li? He's the Emperor.
That's cool, but isn't also Donnie Yen still in maybe some talks to be Shang-Chi?
No, I think he was in talks to be in the movie Shang-Chi, but not playing the actual character Shang-Chi. But being a role within that movie, yes, I believe there's still discussions with him being affiliated with that film, which would be awesome. I mean, he on film, other than the obvious Bruce Lee's and Jackie Chan's and Jet Li's of the world that we grew up with, Donnie Yen is just one of my favorite martial artists ever. I mean, him and Ip Man, if you ever want to see just the most badass 1-on-10 fight, go watch the scene in Ip Man 1 when they're doing their underground fighting after Japan, I believe, kills one of his friends who's fighting in the arena, and he goes against 10 guys, and it's the most badass thing I've ever seen in my life. So to have him in any way affiliated with this, where he's a commander, where we're going to get some action out of him because you have to. And now seeing Jet Li and him together, that excites me, man. That excites me big time. So I definitely want to get the actress of Mulan's name down, but I feel like I'm going to butcher it. But I think it's Yiffy Lu.
Okay.
And that's just a poor,
Yiffy Lu? Leafy Lu? Lucy Lu? No.
But look at what she's been in. She's been in the Forbidden Kingdom. She's been in the Assassins. She's been in roles already where, again, martial arts and just fighting in general have been attached to these movies. So she is familiar with that kind of, style. Now to see her come into, taking the character on of Mulan, I think she's going to do really well, man. I think it's a pretty easy character to grasp. I'm not saying, any actress can do it, but I think when you look at the actual character of Mulan, of somebody who wants to be more, and she doesn't want to be seen as just a princess, that she feels like she can contribute and not only contribute, but do something and be that, defining factor in winning the war, and really taking it upon herself to give up, her seat in being royalty to go and fight like everybody else. I think that's a great story arc, but I also feel like that's a pretty easy task to fall into.
No,
do you agree with that? I mean, I just don't feel like that would be a difficult thing to portray necessarily. I think it'd be a lot of fun, but I don't think it'd be hard for somebody to jump into that.
No, I mean, I can concur with that, but the thing for me is I'm just looking through this cast right away. I'm not seeing any immediate comic relief that we kind of obviously got with Eddie Murphy's Mushu, and it just feels like a missed opportunity not to have an Awkwafina or someone else to play that type of role. True,
but I will say Donnie Yen will give you some humor. He will.
He will.
He gave you a little humor in the Star Wars movie, and he gave a little bit of humor in there.
I'm also a little disappointed that Ken Jeong is not in this movie. I feel like this would be a great opportunity for him to have some comic relief.
Yeah,
obviously the Hangover movies.
Yeah, absolutely right. I know,
yeah.
Dr. Ken. Yeah,
yeah, because he was fantastic in Crazy Rich Asians, which was a great movie. I really thoroughly enjoyed that movie.
He's a hilarious actor, and his story is even better. And the way he just even got into acting was just terrific. But
freaking doctor, man. It's
yeah,
crazy.
I mean, to give that up, I mean, obviously you're making a lot more money now, even being a doctor, and they make decent money, so he's doing real well for himself. But yeah, I agree with you. You know how important it is to me to have that comic relief. That's a huge factor for me. I feel like any movie has to be balanced, and within that balance, for just checking off everything off that list, where your fans come in and go, you know what, that was a little dry for me. You don't want that. So. Yeah. Obviously, you're getting all these amazing martial arts, people, which is great because we want it to be as real as possible, have people do their own stunts. And that's what these people will give you. Even, being at an older age like Jet Li and Donnie Yen, they'll still do a majority of their stunts. But if you don't have that comic relief in there, it's still very much a Disney movie. So I'm hoping they find a creative way to still bring that to us. It's not going to be, slapsticky thrown in your face. It's probably going to be very dry. I kind of almost compare it to how we see in Doctor Strange. Do you know what I mean? When we see his buddy, I'm blanking on his name, and I really shouldn't. It's probably just the whiskey. What's his name at the Sanctum? God damn it, Mike.
I know you're talking about. It's Wong something.
It's Wong. They just call him Wong. He's like Beyonce. Remember, it's the one name. So I think he brought great comedy, but he was very dry.
Yeah.
Right.
Benedict Wong. Sorry.
Yes, Benedict Wong,
who played Wong.
Yeah,
which
played
is
Wong.
Fantastic.
Yeah, easy on the name to remember. So, well, for them, not for me. I can't remember shit apparently. But no, I think he did a great job and kind of what I expect out of this movie on that dry sense of humor, but really giving us that to kind of fulfill that need too. So.
Hey, fun little tidbit here. In this cast listing I'm looking at, it looks like Ron Yuan is in this movie, who plays Sergeant Quang, And that is the voice actor for yours truly, Scorpion, from Mortal Kombat 11 and Mortal Kombat X, which is pretty fucking awesome.
Full circle, man.
Yeah, dude. See how that just happened? That's pretty
Damn.
amazing.
It's just more and more signs pointing to me that I just...
Get over here! So good.
Get over here. Yes, I can't wait for that. But yeah, obviously this movie, I believe, was really just dropped. The trailer just dropped within the last 2 or 3 weeks. So very new.
March next year, 2020.
2020, man. We're looking at March 27th.
Can you believe it, dude? We're about to enter a new decade. Jesus,
man, I just no, I can't believe it. I thought I'd be long gone by now. You know what I mean?
Stop. Stop. What are you, like 15? This is ridiculous.
I thought 2018 was my year for sure, but looks like I'm still here, guys, so that's all right.
You son of a bitch.
No, so focus-wise, I'm just going to give it an average focus, but the only reason I'm giving it an average focus is exactly what you said, Mike. Humor. Comedy. Yeah, comedy's so big for me. So if you don't have the comedy, I can tell you right now, because I got it so heavily in the actual animated movie and enjoyed it so much in the animated movie, I will not really like this movie. Yeah. I might like certain parts, I might like certain scenes, whatever, but as a whole, I can guarantee you I will not care for this movie. So I am going to give it an average and leave it at that until, it proves me wrong.
No, I absolutely have to agree with you. I mean, for me, if it's not following the Guardians of the Galaxy formula, which I feel like has translated into several of the other films now at this point, you have material that if you take yourself so seriously and you don't show some humility and like actually have that break where you actually have, great segments in humor, the film is just off for me. So for me, from what I saw in that trailer, I have to just give it an average focus as well. So, I feel like it's a real detrimental mistake that they're not going to have either Mushu or me. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. Like you said, maybe Donnie Yen plays that comedic role. I mean, I didn't see too much of him in that trailer, but who knows, right? So we'll see. And but there needs to be someone that kind of, that's in that movie that it's obviously going to break, have those moments that breaks the seriousness, like the serious scenes apart as far as to, actually humor the audience. So
it's got to be there.
It's got to be there, man.
Very important.
From what I saw in that trailer, it just felt like it was just super straight to the context of it's following the source material, but it's taking itself very seriously, and it's obviously focusing on a strong feminine lead, which is fantastic, but there doesn't seem to be any type of break as far as cut the tension with humor, because it bodes so well on film.
Yeah. There's Mulan, man. Yep, coming March 27th, 2020. And, we're going to go ahead and give you this last segment too, man. You said you have a little announcement here to give us all, so let's hear it.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. So earlier this week, Nintendo, it's typical Nintendo, at this point, typical Nintendo, methods as far as how they unveil their content. But yeah, E3 came and went, right? And they never announced what I presumed at the time was going to be a Switch mini console version of the Switch, but they literally waited, less than a month until they actually just dropped a quick little video that just went ahead and unveiled their next iteration of their Switch console, which is the Switch Lite. And with that, at this point, you're kind of wondering, what exactly does it entail? But from what I'm seeing, I'm actually kind of really excited about this, because for me, being a Switch owner, I feel like the Switch Lite, obviously it's going to be more of a a lower spec device as far as the original Switch, but the portability of this is even more feasible as far as, it's obviously it's a smaller device. It's going to have a more improved battery life, and the barrier to entry here is only going to be $200, and you're going to be able to play
all Switch games, from the go, for a $200 price point is pretty amazing compared to obviously the main Switch version, which I still believe is $300. So
it sure is.
Yeah.
Mike.
No, I mean, so yeah, Ryan, are you gonna hop on board here or what? No, I'm just kidding. No, I mean, so here's the deal. For me, I see this as being some type of an extension purchase for any person that obviously has a family that already owns a Switch, and maybe like they have their kids that they want to go ahead and buy separate little devices. This is not by any means going to deprecate the 3DS, because obviously they're still going to make content for that platform, but the Switch Lite itself obviously has its own, for me, it has its own enticements as far as this honestly has a D-pad style control pad, which these Joy-Cons are fully built into this unit where you cannot detach these Joy-Cons whatsoever. So the fact that it has a D-pad alone is super exciting for me, because I love to play a bunch of like retro, obviously some 2D platformers, and even for the more recently released Super Mario Maker, like just playing on a D-pad itself versus the individual, I guess what you would call C buttons, which are very familiar to the the N64 days, but these are literally just cursor buttons, which had obviously 4 directional inputs versus obviously a D-pad which has 8 directional inputs, right? So I am super excited for this as far as the it's more portable, it's $200, it's lighter in all in one design, so we'll see. I mean, for me, I feel like this is going to definitely, entice those that obviously own a Switch already, to the point where if they just want to keep their old Switch in tabletop mode, which is just basically just means leave it in its dock and literally play that on the big screen and have their Switch Lite for on-the-go purposes, this is totally going to entice those types of players. So, yeah, I mean, for what it sounds like, $200 price point, that sounds pretty reasonable, comparing to the point that a 3DS only costs $150, if that, or $179. So this is pretty damn cheap. So I mean, obviously you're not going to get an infrared camera, which is included on the right Joy-Con or the HD rumble functions, but with all said and done, this is like more or less like a more glorified PlayStation Vita, which was also honestly one of the better portable consoles, but just didn't have the library to support it as far as games goes. But Switch has the Nintendo Switch has a wide array of games that are just absolutely super fun to play with, and for me, like I'm contemplating whether or not I want to get this, but I'm definitely intrigued by it, and I definitely want to check it out. So for me, it's got my maximum focus, obviously, because I'm super into gaming. But yeah, man, I mean, for anyone that obviously owns a Switch, this seems like a great addition to your current library. If you have a family where you want to maybe share accounts and share purchases as far as what games you already own with someone else in your family, like this seems like a great entry point, or not even entry point, but just a great addition to the Switch family. So yeah, this is going to be coming out, and this is going to be coming out September 20th. So yeah, this is like right around the corner, and I feel like these are going to be selling pretty fast for or they're going to be selling like hotcakes for Christmas. So super excited.
Yeah, it reminds me of when Apple released the those more affordable iPhones, right? I mean, it was just
those like iPhone C models, right?
Yeah, and they did almost identical the same things as the other iPhones, other than maybe some different memory and maybe some camera optic stuff. But all in all, it was essentially just as good. So yeah. I mean, that's exciting to hear that they're giving a more feasible option for people who maybe are budgeting.
Yeah, I mean, so for this model, obviously you're never gonna have the ability to dock this to a TV or play it in tabletop
purely
mode,
handheld.
But as far it's a purely handheld experience, And for me, like so far with the past 2+ years of playing the Switch alone, I have mainly been playing in handheld. So if you're a handheld only Switch player, this might actually intrigue you even more, to the point where you actually want to make this an addition to your Switch family, so that you can leave your main Switch in its home dock and play that, whether you want it on your home on your television and whatnot, and then just take your Lite on the go. You know, this way, because I mean they've had issues where Nintendo Switch Online did not have, I mean, I don't even know if it still has it at this point, but cross-save functionality where you can actually take your saves with you. I think they've just maybe recently introduced this with the Nintendo Switch Online accounts. But if let's say you lost your Switch, like, you lost all your save data. You know, so at this point, like, if you wanted to, you could just you could buy a new Switch Lite and then try to relay those saves onto the Switch Lite, and then still keep intact the Switch, your main Switch, save data on your main Switch, and just leave it at home and just leave it as a home console. If you're looking to make that addition, obviously not everybody has the money to do that or whatever, but if you do, like, this is obviously an extra convenience for you.
Yeah, and actually, Mike, I will be purchasing a Switch come August 1st is my budgeting date of just the last few paychecks that I've been saving. And my last one is on August 1st, where I will be picking up the Switch. So,
hell yeah, dude!
I'm excited to experience some of these games you've been talking about.
You know what? You and I, we should probably sync up and do like a live podcast of us creating a level, like in Super Mario Maker online. That would be awesome.
Wow. Watch, yours is going to be all super good.
And make it completely themed around What's the Focus
Just
podcast.
A big question mark.
Yeah. How do you complete this level? What the fuck?
It's like the Winchester Mystery House. There's just no reason for any of the doorways or entrances.
Right?
Just confuse the fuck out of all the players. That's where I get my kicks and jollies out of.
Yeah, but I mean, the beauty of that game is, I mean, obviously I've said this before, but you can't upload any level unless you've obviously completed it yourself. So,
sure,
yeah, Ryan,
yeah.
We need to figure out a way how to complete it.
All right, fine, jeez. Take the wind out of my sail, why don't you?
All right, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
So Bette Midler of me.
So Bette Midler.
The wind beneath my wings.
All right, well, you know what? That does it for us, Mr.
No,
Joe.
I don't want it to end. I don't want it to end. It's so fun. I'm having such a good time.
I know. It's sad. It's just sad.
God, I mean, I'm getting excited. Like, we didn't even touch over this, but like, Comic-Con's like what? Less than 2 weeks away?
Yeah, I believe it starts on the 18th, and here we are on the 12th. So we're getting pretty close.
So this is gonna be exciting, right? Like, I believe we've already heard tidbits about Marvel's going to announce Phase 4, plans, and
yep, and tidbits about more gameplay off the Avengers game as well. That should be coming out too. So it's the treasure trove for all podcasters out there of information to go talk about. So I'm very excited to see what comes out of Comic-Con this year.
Oh, Billy! No, I'm just sorry. No, you're right, dude. It's gonna be fun.
Yep.
I mean, I feel like we're going to get a lot of news as far as, a bunch of these movies that we're looking forward to. And, I mean, obviously they're going to touch base on some of the games as well. But, yeah, I mean, Comic-Con's a fun time. And, honestly, I hope this time next year we're there, bro. I hope that happens.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we got to. I feel like we have to. I mean, this is our our passion doing this. And to fully be in it, I feel like we got to be there and then do a show while we're there in San Diego.
That's right. Oh my God, can you imagine? So for anyone listening now, like, send us to Comic-Con 2020. Let's go.
Let's do it.
Like,
Let's do
we're
it.
doing it.
Get some good interviews out of people. Try to network ourselves and meet some more podcasters out there. And it'd be a lot of fun.
No, that'd be a freaking hoot and a half.
Yes, sir, it would. All right, like we finish all of our podcasts, you can find us at Twitter.com at What's the Focus. You can find us at whatsthefocus.net, our personal website. You can send us an email at whatsthefocus@yahoo.com. So You can find us on all of those major platforms, and go ahead and send us a request for a topic. You can go ahead and send us a request to be on the show. We actually just heard from a good buddy of Mike's from a few years back, but he hasn't touched base with him in a little bit, and he asked to be on the show, and we're going to have him on here pretty soon. So it's just a really fun opportunity to kind of get on here and kind of just tell us what your guys' focus is. It's as simple as that. So we look forward.
Shout out to you, Mr. Redgrave. We're going to have you on soon, buddy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, we are. So we appreciate everybody's listenership every week. Again, I know we say this, but our numbers are going up, so we greatly appreciate you. And we look forward to our next show. Mike, you got anything to say to close us out?
Dude, I mean, I gotta be honest. So it's been crazy to see the level of attention that we've been getting the past couple of weeks. So I am super, super thankful for everyone that's been listening and anyone that's been chiming in through comments, through Twitter, or through our page. It's been awesome. I never thought that we would experience, obviously this level of success this early. So yeah, man, you guys keep us enthralled, you keep us inspired, and I thoroughly want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, and obviously Ryan's as well, that we're just, this is fun, man. This is just, it's fun to do this, and honestly, we want to keep it going, but we're having a blast, and that's all that matters.
Absolutely. All right, Focus Fanatics, that's going to do it. This is episode 16 at What's the Focus Podcast. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
All right, well, I am done and hammered, so...
Dude, I am so fucking wasted right now. Oh, my God.
Hey,
I'm spinning, bro.
It's 1 a.m. and I'm about 4 glasses deep.
Are we still recording? Wait, is this thing still on?
Ah, shit. We got to turn this off. All right, if you're still on, we'll see you next week.
What's the focus? Bye. Bye, everyone.
Hi, it's Jamie, Progressive #1, #2 employee. Leave a message at the... Hey, Jamie, it's me, Jamie. This is your daily pep talk. I know it's been rough going ever since people found out about your a cappella group, Mad Harmony, but you will bounce back. I mean, you're the guy always helping people find coverage options with the Name Your Price tool. It should be you giving me the pep talk. Now get out there, hit that high note, and take Mad Harmony all the way to nationals this year! Sorry, this is pitchy.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.